Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I have a fan that is quite interesting. Now on first glance, wow, it's been a long day today. It's barely even gotten started, so I'm not ready for this. On first glance, this fan looks like a 3733. It's a typical white Lasko box fan. It's got the plastic blade in there, the plastic guards, and of course, you can't go without the missing feet that have fallen off and have never returned, so you'll never be able to see them. Now, I purchased this fan last year of 2021, and it was while I was still undergoing treatment for and stuff like that. I had bought it because the house was incredibly hot. This room where I'm filming in right now, it doesn't have the best of heating or cooling, and so it gets pretty cold or hot depending on what the weather is. And so I bought a fan to help pull the cool air into the end of this room, so that way it'd be more comfortable whenever I'd sit in here. Now, one of the interesting things is that I got this fan at Walmart. Now, I didn't realize that this fan had existed until literally a couple days ago. I was watching Jordan Yu work on the Lasko 3733 because I was wanting to be able to know how to take this apart and make sure that the motor still worked, because the last few fans I've taken apart, all the motors have died on them and they just stopped working. So now and then as I was watching the video, I realized that the nameplate on this fan, if you look, was different than that of a Lasko 3733 box fan, which I'll put up a picture right here. And that got me interested. So I went onto the website of Lasko, and I'll post a screenshot of what I found. It turns out that this fan is not a 3733, and it varies a little bit differently from the actual 3733. Of course, from the grill, but apparently, and also the motor, there's supposed to be a difference in the motor or the blade. I think that they're making up some baloney, or it's all crap. It's all lies. The motor on this, if you can see, the motor on this fan is still the same as the 3733. It's still got that plastic shroud over it for no reason. The switch is completely the same, but for some reason on the information stamp, which is on the bottom, according to Lasko, it is different. I need to make sure that I get it in the right orientation though for you to read. So see if I can get it to like focus, get the camera to focus on this weird stamp. It's very hard to see. But if you look there, that's the model. This is a Lasko Type 1. It draws 120 volts and pulls 0.3 amps. So it's basically the same as the 3733 box fan. Quite literally the same. Now, it is equipped with one of the bigger motors on the Lasko fans. If you don't know, check out Jordan Yu's video. He does a very good example and a very good job at explaining how Lasko 3733s today are fitted with two different motors, and which one you want to go for. And so if you take a look at the back, you'll notice that it is the bigger motor. because you can see that much larger capacitor. And whenever I take this apart to clean it, you will see that it will, of course, it of course has all the startup sounds and stuff, and I guess later in this video you'll be able to see that. Whenever I clean it, I might be able to go a little bit more in depth and maybe see the actual information on the motor to see if maybe the motor itself draws more than what the fan says it does. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is just a rebadged Lasko 3733 box fan. The prices are absolutely identical. They both cost the same. They both move the same amount of air. They're both the same blades, same guards, except for the badge on the front. Same handles, same switches, same missing feet, same frame itself. Everything is the same, even down to the plug. They even still have the same stupid planned obsolescence blue plug. Focus on the plug, not this. The same standard obsolescence, the planned obsolescence blue plug that is supposed to be safe, but it's not. I don't know why they just equip these with replaceable fuses on these plugs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start this up and see how that sounds, and then we'll get the startup sound on it, of course, because it does have a really nice startup sound on low. So let me just go ahead and get my rudimentary air tester. In the future, I'm planning on maybe getting even an anemometer for this fan to see maybe how maybe different airflows work, so that we get more of an accurate reading. But other than that, we'll just be using pieces of paper for now. So let's go ahead and start off on low. Now, it moves a pretty good amount of air, but of course it is very loud, and if you can already see, just like any other Lasko product with this stupid plastic blade, you can see on the blade that it's unbalanced. If we go up to the top, it's even unbalanced up there. So that's pretty common with these Lasko blades. That's why I don't like them. They're very difficult to balance. They're very hard to balance, and they almost never come balanced from the factory. Anyways, so this is the amount of air that's blowing. This doesn't really work that well. It's too thick. Now, as you see, it moves a fairly good amount of air. So it's not like it's not moving less air. Man, it's really out of balance now. Look at that! Look at that shake! Look at that! That is incredibly out of balance now. It seems like maybe once it gets up to speed, maybe it's even worse. And knowing that it doesn't have the feet and it's on a plastic table doesn't really work any well. But just typical Laskos, typical box fans even, they do have. The weird thing is, typical Laskos, yeah, they only blow out majority out of the front. They don't really have a very wide stream of air. You typically only get air out of the front, a little bit out of the sides, as you can see here. Not much out of this side though, and then some out of the bottom. So the airstream is not very wide. Now I've slept with this fan on before. I used it before I got my 533, my Vornado 533. So it's relatively quiet if you're a heavy sleeper like me, but if you're a light sleeper, this is definitely really loud, and the balancing is absolutely horrendous. Let's go ahead and take it up to 2. Now, it's a little bit better on 2. It's just shaking a lot faster, so it's a little bit different. But on 2, the airflow really does pick up a little bit, not very much. Well, it seems to be picking up a little bit more. Yeah. throwing out a good amount of air now, but as opposed to the noise, it's really not. So let's go ahead and take it up to 3. Oh, it's running away. Oh no. So on 3, this is very loud, but it is moving a lot of air. But compared to the noise, this is not worth it. So it is moving a lot of air. I just can't believe how unbalanced it is. You know, that is typical of Laskos nowadays. All their blades come unbalanced. There's never a blade that isn't balanced that comes from Lasko. All the fans, even the little tiny ones that I've seen, are balanced. I have a space heater that's under the desk right there that I use for my feet. That thing rattles like crazy whenever it's being used. So yeah, it's pretty disappointing to still see that even a fan that comes from 2020 is still ridiculously unbalanced. I forgot to see what the spin time was. I was too busy talking. So I'll actually let you go ahead and see the spin time. The spin time is not bad. Now it doesn't really need to be oiled yet, but it does need to be cleaned, that's for sure, if we want to be able to make sure that this works for a pretty long time. I guess now I can give you guys the very good startup sound. Now, the best startup sound from this fan is on low. It's honestly probably the best startup sound I've heard on a modern fan. So just go ahead and give it a little bit of a test. So yeah, it's got a very good startup sound. But other than that, I didn't buy this fan because I thought it was interesting or because I wanted it to be part of my collection, thing like that. I bought this fan to use it as a fan. You know, during the summertime, it sits right there and it blows air into this room right here because those ducts right there, and this fan does nothing. The ceiling fan is a bad capacitor, and these ducts barely blow out any air. So we just put a fan here, and it's a very cheap $20 solution to a, you know, upwards of over $100 problem. So yeah, I mean, we deal with the noise, and plus it sits on carpet, so it doesn't really matter. And even though the feet are missing, we just end up propping it up against that wall, and it just stays right where it normally sits. But other than that, it's a good fan. I just don't understand why Lasko produced this. You know, I actually really don't understand why it was produced or what the purpose is of it, because it's just a 3733 with a tad bit bigger motor because it's a bigger capacitor. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and comment and like, and I'll see you guys next time.